X-Men 97 Season 2 Big Bad Apocalypse is a must-add for your X-Men collection. Rama-Tut traveled all the way back to 3000 BC just to get him on his side, proving that Apocalypse is a core piece of the mutant timeline. So which version should you actually add to your shelf, and which should Hasbro make next? In this video, I'm ranking Apocalypse figures in my collection to see which one will survive the survival of the fittest. Unlike popular X-Men characters like Wolverine, Rogue, Cyclops, and Jean Grey, I don't have 10 Apocalypse action figures. For this countdown, I'm only including the ones I actually own. I do have to acknowledge that the Toyvis Vilda figure is one of the best and tallest out there. Even if I don't have a tall Apocalypse yet, I've already pre-ordered the 12-inch Marvel Legends Apocalypse coming in December 2026. Before we start, I'd like to give special mention to some Apocalypse adjacent figures. First up is Kang the Conqueror. In X-Men 97, we see Kang's ancient Egyptian identity, Rama-Tut, Nathaniel Richards. It's no surprise this time-traveling villain knew Apocalypse was destined to rule the world, and he wanted to claim the young mutant as his own heir. Then we have X-Force Archangel. In the Uncanny X-Force storyline, he actually became the new Apocalypse. Interestingly, one of his horsemen is the actual son of Apocalypse, Genocide, or as Hasbro commercially calls him, Nemesis. We also have Strife. With Apocalypse still going strong after 5,000 years, this clone of Cable aimed to retire him. From the Executioner song to his brutal defeat in Messiah War, he proved to be a sharp thorn in the side of Apocalypse. And finally, Rogue, who famously battled Apocalypse in the X-Men animated series. Speaking of Rogue, here she is.
Well, hey there, sugar. This here is Lenore Zann, aka Rogue of the X-Men. And you know, you are watching some truly unstoppable X-Men content by my friend Drew, aka Tuggernaut Collectibles.
This is my unstoppable Apocalypse action figure ranking ever. At number 5, the 3.75-inch Marvel Universe Apocalypse. This figure captures the modern look of Apocalypse from Clayton Crane's art in X-Force. This feels like the Survivor version of Apocalypse before he became a god-level tyrant. This looks like someone hardened by endless war. In terms of costume and armor, the sculpted details is everywhere, from the shoulder pads and the pipes to the boots. It's amazing that back when Hasbro was making smaller scale figures, the sculpt and paint wash was exceptional, inch for inch. If this figure was a 6-inch scale figure, it would definitely be a top contender. Even though he doesn't scale with the rest of my 112 collection, he deserves recognition for how well Hasbro captured his look from the Messiah War. That's the storyline where he teams up with Archangel, who actually saves him from dying, and Apocalypse repays the favor by absolutely destroying Strife. At number 4, the world-shattering Marvel Legends Apocalypse from the Age of Apocalypse. This isn't just Apocalypse as a villain, this is Apocalypse after winning, a world where Xavier's dream completely failed. Does this figure capture the victorious version of Apocalypse? Joe Mad's art has a very distinct Apocalypse silhouette where his torso looks like an inverted triangle. Since most of his body is a reuse and a repaint, Hasbro failed to match the Joe Mad design. Despite that, he comes with several accessories. You get a skull, which is the perfect prop for such a menacing character. It would have been nice if he had cloth cape so he could actually sit down. It seems that the weight of the plastic cape is as heavy as the weight of the world because his legs are starting to fail him. Still, despite that, Hasbro delivered an Apocalypse figure that is simple but good enough. Unlike other Marvel Legends Apocalypse, he comes with one of the most unique portraits, a maniacal laughing head sculpt. This head sculpt is actually a direct nod to Joe Mad's artwork. Usually the big guy is drawn looking completely deadpan and stoic, but in the Age of Apocalypse timeline, being a global dictator clearly brought him joy. He also has something other Apocalypse figures lack. He has more hair up there. At number 3, the Marvel Select Apocalypse. This is the exact version I pictured when people talk about Apocalypse as an unstoppable force of nature. Marvel Select did an incredible job delivering that presence through the figure's massive size and great accessories. As of this recording, this is the tallest Apocalypse in my collection. The aesthetics and frame matches his classic look perfectly. With Diamond Select toys now gone, I really miss how they included so many accessories. This guy has a ton of alternate weapon hands. The Morning Star, the Claw, and the Drill. My absolute favorite is the Drill hand because it reminds me of the final boss from the X-Men vs Street Fighter game. Since I don't have the Toyvis Build-A-Figure Apocalypse, this is the closest figure that matches his aesthetics from the Fall of the Mutant story. Just like this figure, in that storyline, he morphs his hands into claws and shields and even uses them to help him fly. These weapons aren't just part of his suit, it's his actual skin. Apocalypse lore is heavily tied to celestial technology. He discovered celestial technology known as the Ship and used the cosmic tech to completely rewrite his own molecular structure. The head sculpt is a bit divisive. Is it the best or the worst? The dude isn't meant to be handsome, so looking like a monster should be okay. I did have to cheat a bit. I asked my friend JP to improve the head with paint wash. Articulation might not be the strongest point for Marvel Select, but they are top of their game when it comes to shelf presence. One thing I love about Apocalypse figures is that every design represents a different phase of mutant history. Sometimes he's a futuristic warlord, sometimes a celestial enhanced god, sometimes an ancient survivor from 3000 BC Egypt. And now with X-Men 97 connecting him to Rama-Tut, Marvel is reminding everyone that Apocalypse isn't just another X-Men villain, he's one of the oldest and most important mutants in existence. At number 2, the Marvel Legends Retro Apocalypse. If X-Men 97 made you want an Apocalypse figure immediately after watching the episode, this is probably the one most fans should buy and is still in existence. This is the figure that most closely resembles the X-Men animated series and X-Men 97 look. The bright purple colors make him stand out to the point you might not even notice the big A on his belt. Although the aesthetics lean heavily on cartoon design, this was the perfect middle ground if you want an animated series and X-Factor comic mix. The standout quality here is the two head sculpts. My favorite is the teeth-clenching version. The paint wash really brings out the excellent sculpt work. He comes with an alternate pair of hands and a cannon weapon. To intimidate your X-Men figures further, Hasbro added their largest blast effect. Some pointed out that Hasbro could have added more weapon hands, like the Marvel Select version, but you can always use the claw included with the deluxe Marvel Legends Archangel. He isn't exactly an identical copy of the new 12-inch Marvel Legends X-Men 97 Apocalypse. There are several differences in the color and some minor armor details, so he isn't just a perfect normal size version of the 12-inch figure. But from afar, you might not even notice. At number 1, the winner of the Survival of the Fittest Apocalypse figures, the Marvel Legends Apocalypse Build-A-Figure. This was one of the most expensive VAPs on the aftermarket prior to the retro release. Unlike its repainted counterpart, the figure has a darker metallic color finish. I always envision Apocalypse in this blue deep colors, and this matches it perfectly, even if the shoulder pads and the A belt are a bit modern. The X-Factor comic book design is somewhat wacky with the big A and odd armor, but that's what makes this character unique. He's a mean, serious dude with a questionable fashion sense. He only comes with one angry head sculpt which fits his personality, but I'm glad the retro gave us another option. He also has the alternate claw included with the deluxe Marvel Legends Archangel. It's a no-brainer that you get Archangel anyway. Those two have a rich history, and Apocalypse has acknowledged Warren as the greatest horseman he ever had. Even if the retro captures the X-Men 97 presence, this Build-A-Figure captures his essence from the 90s comics and trading cards. Unlike Magneto or Mr. Sinister, he doesn't believe in peace, revenge, or even domination. He believes only the strong deserve to survive, and this figure captures that essence. That makes the Marvel Legends Apocalypse Build-A-Figure the definitive Apocalypse for me. Although the new 12-inch Marvel Legends Apocalypse isn't on this list yet, do you think he'll take the number 1 spot easily? Let me know in the comments below. I don't think that massive 12-inch Apocalypse figure is the last we get. Based on the 2 Funko Pop listings, Hasbro may even make a young En Sabah Nur and a regular size present time Apocalypse to complement the 12-inch version. A young En Sabah Nur would be an important addition to my collection since it represents the early beginnings of one of my favorite X-Men villains. I just hope Hasbro doesn't sacrifice the articulation if they make a young En Sabah Nur figure, because I want him to be able to sit on a throne. As for the regular sized present time Apocalypse, I expect Hasbro to shrink the 12-inch version down to size of the retro Apocalypse. I won't be surprised if he comes with fewer accessories. I assume he will have the same exact accessories from the retro Apocalypse. And if Hasbro simply repaints and reuses the old Apocalypse body, he will have single-jointed elbows. Moving on to the future, I don't expect Hasbro to make a fully armored future Apocalypse, but it would be a pleasant surprise if they do, because it would complete the theme of X-Men 97, giving us a past, present, and future Apocalypse. But something that's really missing is his Horseman. The Horseman of Death, Archangel, is here, but the rest are nowhere to be found. This has been a huge wishlist item for Marvel Legends collectors, and it would be nice to get them even if they are X-Men animated series versions. Although I do wonder if they will actually come with horses. Plus, a Horseman Famine action figure would complete the Apocalypse family alongside their son, Genocide. For X-Men 97, we should expect a new Horseman lineup which includes Gambit as Death. So who are the other 3 Horsemen? In the comics, Apocalypse assembled several versions of his 4 Horsemen. But if X-Men 97 follows the roster that includes Gambit as Death, joining him is Polaris as Pestilence. She is already in X-Men 97 in her X-Factor and X-Corp uniforms, with no hint of being a Horseman yet. The next Horseman is Sunfire as Famine, which would be an easy repaint for Hasbro because he is in his Age of Apocalypse look. The final Horseman is a lesser known mutant named Gazer, the Horseman of War. In the comments below, let me know which one of those 4 do you think will become a Marvel Legends figure. With the series exploring Apocalypse past, present, and future, Apocalypse feels bigger than ever right now. Apocalypse isn't just back, he's the absolute centerpiece of the X-Men 97 Season 2. This video is part of my massive X-Men series celebrating X-Men 97 Season 2. If you want to see more ranking and figure breakdowns, click the playlist in the top right corner of your screen. Thank you. It is like a pat on the back for me when you engage by a comment or like. When you drop a comment, I guarantee I'll respond as long as it's respectful and something I can easily answer. So please, try to leave a comment because I love hearing from you guys. If you enjoyed this, make sure to smash that hype button, blast that like button, subscribe, and share this with your fellow X-Men 97 fans. Also, if you're looking to pick up any of the figures featured today, I left some links in the description below. Have a great day and I'll see you in the next one.